Hi, I'm Bee.
And I'm Brina.
And it's our birthday! Well, technically mine was a week ago.
And mine is a week from now. Like, so what better day to launch our channel than the halfway point between our two birthdays? So it's the birth of our channel.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna start off our channel with the foundation of makeup, of course, which is foundation. So we're gonna do a review / comparison of a foundation that we have here.
So Maybelline's Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation is massively popular. It retails for about $8. It comes in 40 different shades. A lot of people really like it. You've seen tons of reviews. We wanted to give you a video not only looking at different shades, since we're not exactly neighbors on the color wheel, but we want to see how it performs on different skin types. I have really dry skin. It tends to be sensitive. I deal with breakouts along my jawline, and Brina is glowing and flawless all the time and hardly ever wears makeup. So it also gives us a different view on how it looks with different skin types and how the finish looks and how it settles in on skin textures and all of those different things, along with the color tones and undertones and all of those different things. So we're gonna get ready.
Let's get into it.
Let's go. So here we are. I have shade 120 Classic Ivory and 125 Nude Beige to try out. So that's what I'm gonna put on today. What did you pick up, Brina?
I picked up shade number 370 Deep Bronze at the store. They didn't really have many options in my shade range, so I went ahead and just picked up the one that I believe might fit the closest. We'll see.
Okay, it looks pretty red. Do you think that you have more of a red undertone?
I think my face does, but then my body is more yellow. I do. I have a little complex colors going on.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these really quick using my collarbone just to see. One of the things I do like that it's a glass bottle. It's nice and sturdy. It feels really heavy, but it's just open at the top. There's not a pump or anything, so it can be a little bit annoying to get out. So let's see. That 125 seems pretty close. So let's try the 120. And the 120 just kind of melted away and disappeared. So I feel like the 120 is a really good match for me. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and use and get that little wipey off there. I am gonna use a damp beauty blender today. And what do you use to put yours on?
I pretty much just use a foundation brush usually, or at times I can just use my fingers.
Okay, so I'm already moisturized and primed and prepped and ready to go, so we're just gonna go in. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this just on the back of my hand here and go on in with the fat side of my beauty blender and just start pouncing.
I generally just kind of pour it into the top a little bit and swoop from there because I like lighter coverage. Oh, that is really red.
It says for normal to oily skin, and I think it's like a medium coverage. I like more of a full coverage. I do tend to have quite a bit of like texture. I deal with breakouts like along my jaw a lot of the time, and I'll just have random pimples here and there that I feel like I need coverage, like this guy hanging out on my forehead at the moment. It's just coming out. So I do feel like I just need to even out skin tone. It says it's for, again, oily skin because it is a mattifying foundation. I don't feel that it's super mattifying. It has more of like a natural finish, which is good because my skin is super dry. So that's actually preferable for me because I don't need anything that's going to be sticking to dry areas of my face or really making any of that stand out. So I actually do like the finish and how it doesn't dry down really matte, because that really wouldn't be great because my skin is extra dry. As much moisture and as much that I try and do to counteract that. I can't fight nature all the way. So
I would say I'm definitely a more oily type. I get oily in my T-zone, which is basically my forehead, my nose area, a little bit on my cheeks. But I typically go for foundations that aren't necessarily mattifying. But this one is more of a satin finish, so I appreciate that look. It's not as dry looking, so look, I'm already finished. Yeah.
I'm still pouncing.
Still pouncing. 1,000 pounces later.
Yeah. That's how it goes. And I
At
do.
least I think I am.
Yeah, and you definitely do use a little bit more product with the Beauty Blender. I like the finish that it gives me. I have used this with a brush before. It definitely goes on faster, and you definitely put product down quicker and you use less product. But for me especially, and I don't know if it's like my skin type or just how it is for me, but I tend to see brush strokes. It doesn't blend as well, and I'll have areas where I'll just have more coverage and then kind of like a bald spot on my face later. So I really like the finish that the Beauty Blender gives me. It just blends better. It does what its name implies, so that's just what works for me. I tend to do a full face. Brina is much more of a natural face girl. She's done with her makeup for the day.
Yeah,
that's just how she is. But I really do go hard in, so I'm gonna continue on with the rest of it. So I'm going in, I pretty much stick to drugstore products because that's just
Are you putting
how
concealer?
I do. Yeah, so this is gonna be, we have Maybelline, the Age Rewind little sponge top.
That would have worked. What is that?
Banana bread.
Oh. I got two too. Hey guys.
What? I'm gonna need you to be quiet, which includes not yelling at your brother. So, let's do your under eye concealer. Let's see how that goes.
I put some on already.
Did
is it
you?
concealing?
Did you set it? I don't know.
Is it feeling?
I don't know. What
way.
did you do? Are your feelings showing?
Is it? Can you tell how tired I am? Okay, here we go.
Listen, I got 3 kids running around this house.
I'm gonna put more. Is that okay? It's gonna cake. At what level does your face cake?
I think level 25.
Okay. See, I just put a little bit. And then...
Nice. We have our very own laugh track. If it happened when we actually said something funny, that would be preferable. Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer.
Oh.
Because it smells so good. You should just use this as your setting powder. It'd probably be a good,
yeah.
It would probably be a good color for you. It's good bronzer for me. It smells amazing. I kind of just want to use it as my whole face.
See, this
I didn't bring my setting spray downstairs.
Well, she also got me to get that makeup for her. It's actually, that's the only one I like. Out of all the products I like, that's the one I like.
Are you guys kidding me right now?
They're not playing. Well, they are playing, but they ain't playing with you. See? That's pretty much. I don't need to blend more. I just jabbed myself in the eye.
And that's it. Now that this is settling in and now that it's there, I do wish I had a little bit more coverage. Like I said, I do have some texture, but that's just kind of my face. I do everything I can to counteract it, but.
Would you consider this foundation like buildable, or is it just medium?
It is definitely buildable, but I think when you build it does kind of settle into your texture a little bit more, so the color is buildable, and it will cover any discoloration issues that you have. But as far as the texture goes, the more layers you have, it will start settling into your pores and fine lines and anything that you have going on with that. That's what I found with myself, and with my dry skin at least. Like any flakiness that I have, the thicker the foundation gets. Like I'll get right little here, I get a little bit of a dry patch right between my eyebrows. So if I go a little bit too heavy-handed with my foundation, I'll start towards the end of the day noticing like little flakies coming off right here. And so those are the types of things that I notice. So I do have to make sure to get even layers. Using the Beauty Blender helps a lot because since it is a sponge that kind of absorbs some of the makeup, it helps me from getting too heavy-handed and building too thick of a layer of it. So it kind of keeps myself in control, because if I used a brush, I would probably just layer it on too thickly. So it is good. It's good for a work day because I can just kind of throw it on and go. It keeps me looking really natural. It keeps my skin looking like skin, and it's nice and satiny and like a good clean finish. It's not something I would use for an event. It's not a full coverage, super glam foundation, but that's not what it's meant to be. So for what it is, I like it. For the price that it is, I really like it, and I see why it's such a huge hit with so many people.
Okay. Well, like I said before, I'm typically not really a fan of mattifying foundations, even though I am very oily. However, I can see that this is not necessarily classically matte. It's more like a dewy or satin finish versus just a straight up dry looking. So once it settles into my skin, I don't really have a lot of texture, but I do have texture around my cheeks here. But I can see that it works well with the it works well with the concealer that I use. So I'm not mad at it. I mean, it's okay. This is only my first time really wearing it, so I'm gonna keep wearing it and see if I like it even more. But for the price range, I actually was able to get it for $5.84 at Walmart.
Yeah. How's that for an abrupt ending? Thank you for watching and hanging out with us during all of this craziness.
Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you want to see more of our videos.
You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. We're at B and Brina on both. Bye!
I don't need, I like a combination of the both. I can't even speak when I'm being recorded. I'm realizing.
Good thing we started a YouTube channel.
What?